Welcome to the shop. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Garage Groove. Thank you for joining us and thank you for coming on to our channel. This week we're going to put a cap on Sophian's 250cc Chinese vintage motorcycle. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a review on it, an official review on it, which we do with all of our bikes. So this thing, we had to give it a chance so it can represent itself adequately. And if you remember, our rear sprocket on it was a bit of an issue. So what we did is we have got our old sprocket back from the machine shop. Let's take a look at it. So what we got here, we got two chains, nice gold X-ring chains, and this is the old sprocket. Now this is a 428 pitch sprocket. We got a 58 millimeter hole. These are 64 millimeters next to each other, and these are exactly 90 millimeters from hole to hole. Okay, and I see the holes are pretty close, but if you look at the thickness of this, it's not going to be an issue. Okay, we thought about filling these in, the old holes, but it may warp the sprocket, so we're not going to do that. But if you match this up to that is a lot bigger sprocket. That's going to be a woods bike, a dirt bike. It's going to act and perform like one. This chain, if you remember, is a 420. We'll have to utilize it somewhere else. So we're going to have to do a little bit of work. We're going to, first of all, change. We're going to take the rear wheel off and we're going to put our original sprocket back on it. We're going to take the front sprocket off and put the 428 sprocket back on. Then we're going to resize the chain and get it hooked on there. The other thing we did, this was off camera, we put in, that's the old clutch pack, the discs were all burnt. They were pretty wore out. So I put in a new clutch in this thing, and that should be good to go. So we will give this bike plenty of opportunity to represent itself adequately. So we're going to turn on the time lapse. We're going to get the sprocket changed over. We're going to put the new chain on it. And then ultimately, we're going to take you guys for a ride on it. And we'll rip around on this thing and see how it performs now. That bigger sprocket's going to make a world of difference. This thing's going to run a lot better like it should. So let's get the camera, the time lapse going, and we'll see you in a second. Welcome back everybody. So we just got done putting together a bunch of the last minute stuff for Sophian's bike to hopefully correct all the issues with it. Hopefully we made all the adjustments right. Let's take a look at it. Take a look at that sprocket now. That's a much much bigger sprocket. That, I believe, is gonna take care of the issues. And seems to spin nice. I'm always a little worried about the tension on the chain. I'm always hoping I didn't make it too tight. The other things we did was we put in a new clutch pack and we did an oil change on it. And this bike did not fail to need modifications. I had to grind this piece. You see where the Sharpie pen is? Well, that used to be a lot thicker. It so happened that with the new clutch and the plates being not as worn, it didn't have quite as much play. So the cable that we had put together for the worn out clutch needed more adjustment. So that's where we are at with the bike. I'm very happy with the size of that sprocket. We are going to do an official review on this bike. I'm going to take it for a ride, and I'm going to take you guys along with us, and then we are going to talk about it. So we'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, we are introducing Sophion and officially his bike. We are handing it over to him right after this review. This will officially become his bike. We had to do some adjustments, and we had to change a few things around, but we are ready to do a quick review and hand it off to its rightful owner. Let's take a look. So what we did, look at that sprocket, so much bigger. We have not taken it for a test ride yet. We're going to and do an official review on it. This bike is complete. We got the rear mast, or the rear caliper we have to bleed. Other than that, we are good to go. So I'm gonna take a first test ride on it, then we'll probably let the kids ride it a little bit, and then we're pretty much ready. The bike's ready for the spring. The one other thing we're gonna do is this kickstand we're not too happy with. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I didn't even paint it yet, so we'll probably do something with that. Okay, so with that in mind, we are ready to take this thing for a ride. We'll see you in a minute.
Hello everybody, welcome back on this episode of Garage Groove, where we are reviewing Sofian's motorcycle. The kids have rode it, even I took it for a quick ride. Let's talk about it for a minute, and then we'll take you guys for a ride on it. So this, we did an upgrade on the rear sprocket. As you can see, much bigger. It pulls much smoother, a lot more torque. We added a new clutch pack to it, so it doesn't slip anymore. Runs beautiful. It sounds great. It shifts good. Everything is on point. There's a couple things that I didn't like too much about this bike, and this tank kind of is a concern because it does not have a petcock on it. It runs straight into the carb, so if your float ever sticks, it's gonna go right down into your motor and it's gonna hydrolock it. So, although I will say the pit bike was the same way, the 110cc, and we had it for all these years and that never happened. But it would have been nice to have a fuel shutoff on that. What else don't I like? Well, this rear caliper is not bled yet. It's not bleeding very easy, so I may have to suction all the stuff out of it, but I need a proper compressor for that, and my compressor isn't working quite yet. And the front brakes seem a little sticky, so I don't know. We'll see on that in the spring if we want to just get a couple new calipers and put them on. But I don't know. We'll see about that. The high points on this bike is, of course, it has to be concerning Sofian, the proper owner. He's going to be the one riding it. So I think the high points in this bike is the fact that it's not too tall for him. So that's great. It's not too powerful, so that's good. It's tight. It pulls very well now. It's geared properly the way it should be. It looks great. I mean, we're trying to achieve the vintage look, so I think we did our best to capture that. Some of the stuff you just can't get around, you know, these newer angled plastics, the newer style, they're more flat seat. Can't do nothing about that. Although I'll say that the seat is fairly comfortable, so that's good. The tires I'm very happy with. So other than that, I think it's a great bike, man. You know, a lot of modifications and everything, but we did everything correctly, and it runs great. So we're very happy with it, and we have passed it off to its new owner. You'll probably never see me riding this thing, other than me taking you guys for a ride right now. So let's strap in and we'll take you guys for a ride on it. We'll see you in a minute. Okay, everybody, so we just got back from the helmet cam ride on Sophian's pit bike. This video is a cap on this project. It is finished. It is done, and in fact, we are going to put this thing away for the winter, and we'll break it back out in the spring where Sophian is going to proceed to ride this thing. But as you can see, I got my partner in crime right behind me, Faison. He's ridden the bike. I've ridden the bike. Sophian's ridden the bike. Sophian's not available right now. He's outside playing with his friends. But me and Faison, we're gonna do the review on this now. So let me talk about this for a minute. You know, this is a 230 actually cc motorcycle, and it's a 4-stroke, and I really like how this bike it pulls really good now. I think it's perfect for Sophian. I think it pulls just right. It doesn't pull too hard, not too soft. It looks great. The front brakes work really good, although I felt like they're a little sticky.
Yeah, they stick quite a bit.
The seat, I think, is very comfortable. I think it's something Sophian is going to be able to ride for a while in the woods without, you know, getting cramped up in the butt. The looks are good. We tried to go for the vintage look, and we did a little bit of it.
It's half vintage.
It's half vintage, yeah. That's the best we could do, but
Yeah.
it came out really nice. I think it sounds really nice.
That's really good.
Probably my biggest issue with this bike is the fact the gas tank does not have a shutoff on it. I don't like that.
Yeah, it just flows good.
It just flows. The rear caliper is an issue still. We have to bleed it. It was not bleeding properly. Going around the turns and coming out of the turns, you hit it. It pulls really nice now. It is a 5-speed, so that's great. It sounds awesome. What do you think, Faison? What's your likes about the bike? How do you compare it to your XR?
It's kind of the same as the XR. The sprockets are my XR's sprockets a little bigger.
It's a little bigger, yeah.
Yeah, and like that, like this thing would beat that on a race, but like the torque wise, and like it was pretty good, and both bikes tear up grass pretty good. The tear up rate, the tear up rate on both bikes are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like see the XR, the knobbies are smaller but bigger sprocket. This has gnarly knobbies on it, but sprocket's a little smaller, so it kind of evens out.
How do you like the clutch on this bike?
It's basically the same as the XR. It's
Okay.
like nice and smooth.
Yeah.
The pulls and
It's a little tall for you though, right? This bike?
yeah.
You dumped it once.
Yeah.
That was off camera. Faison dumped it.
Yeah. I was going on a turn and I slipped on the grass because I was hammering on it.
Yeah, we got a little bit of dirt there. Where's your?
Right here.
Yeah, this stuck right into the ground.
Yeah.
That's okay though.
Yeah, because
It's a beater bike, you know.
Yeah, because I was tearing some grass up. I mean, I didn't feel like I was grabbing too much gears, but I was on the back part. I turned and I slipped on some mud. So
How does it perform compared to your XR? It turns and stuff. Everything's
the
good.
turning's really nice.
Yeah.
See,
The shocks and the suspension. How's that?
The shocks. I didn't really pay attention to the shocks, but like when I ride it.
Felt comfortable though, right?
Yeah, it's comfy. It kind of like blends in with the seat, the shocks and stuff, since the seat's so comfy.
Okay.
At this point, the seat is the shocks. It
Yeah.
protects you.
No, I think the shocks work very well on the bike. Everything. It's a tight bike. It's a nice tight bike. We're very happy with how Sophian's bike turned out. Like I said, all the boys rode it. It's gonna be his bike now, and we reviewed it from his perspective. It's a good bike for him. It's going to work well for him. It's not too powerful, but yet it provides plenty of torque. He'll be able to climb all sorts of hills with this bike. It's not going to bog down at all. So that's it. You know, that concludes Sophian's motorcycle project. The bike's going into storage until spring. So we will see you on the next project. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay with us. We got a lot more stuff to do, and we hope you are part of it. Thank you again. Take care. Have a great week.